going on, everybody? Back again with another video out here in Indonesia, and I'm in the city of Bandung. If you guys missed out my video yesterday, check it out. For the first time ever, I took a bullet train, the Whoosh train, all the way here. And a lot of people, they probably know about this city just because of that, but there's much more happening in this beautiful city. One thing, the city is also known as the shopping mecca of Indonesia. It's also known as Asia Africa City in Indonesia, which I explained that yesterday. They got a street here literally named Jalan Asia Africa, and it commemorates a convention that happened in 1955 where newly independent African and Asian countries came together in solidarity and they celebrate like the peace and union. So they even have a museum dedicated to that. But I'm gonna stroll around here. I already explored like the touristy areas like Braga Street, some of the streets over here, but I'm gonna try to explore around and check out some of the malls. So without further ado, join me. Compared to Jakarta, it's actually a pretty chill city. Like I said, yesterday I filmed Braga Street. I don't know if I'm gonna film it again today. If I will, maybe I'll do it in the nighttime, because in the nighttime it gets pretty busy, you know, and they have like tons and tons of coffee shops around next to each other and a lot of street art. The architecture here is pretty nice too. And then if you go around, like I said, the city is spread out and you can take a Grab or a taxi around. A lot of the streets, they have tree-lined streets, nice houses, nice well-paved streets. But yeah, let's see what else is happening out here in Bandung. And the weather is much more cooler than Jakarta because it's surrounded by the mountains. They even have a volcano out here, so there's a lot to see. But even in a chill city like this, there's a lot of traffic with cars, motorbikes. Then the block ahead of me is Jalan Asia Africa Street. And then in the street, they got like some spheres around, and each sphere has the name of a country, mostly an African country. So I'm gonna show you a little bit of it and some of the architecture that's happening around here. Look at the motorbikes over here. And then these are the spheres that I'm talking about. Each of them have a name. For example, this one over here says Uganda, and it has a flag. A lot of people come and take their pictures here. Let me show you like a 360 view. Well, here we got more. I gotta be careful with the car. But this over here says Somalia. Then the other one, I don't know, let me check it. I know it's probably another African city. It says, I think Congo. Pretty good that they have this here in Indonesia. And you can see how nice and well paved the sidewalk is. Once I make it to the corner, you're gonna see beautiful architecture and a lot of people hanging out and shooting their pictures. They got like a mini monument and a lot of guards around, but people are very friendly in this city. I mean, not just the city, even when I was in Jakarta, people were nice. So, you know, Indonesians are pretty nice and hospitable. Then ahead of me is gonna get nicer with a building in the corner that has a beautiful architecture. Then the Museum of Asia Africa, it's on the other side of the corner. I literally filmed it yesterday, not in the inside, but I filmed this area if you guys want to check out the video. Once I finish taking the Whoosh train. Look how busy it is here. Motorbikes after motorbikes. But I love it, pretty vibrant. The day seems to be very slow. I think it's Tuesday, but even though yesterday, Monday, there was more people, maybe after work and school, they'll come out here and start hustling, grinding, and taking pictures. But then over here is where it gets nice. I see a lot of people that usually take pictures with this building in front of me. This is the building right here. You can see how beautiful the architecture is. They got the tuk-tuk too. But I really don't see much people using those around. But I want to show you the museum and the other side of the street. This over here is the Museum of Asia Africa. And that over there is the famous Braga Street. If you go around, it gets much more busy with a lot of local shops and coffee shops. But I'm gonna explore another side. I don't know how far it is from here, but I'm gonna check out a mall, I think it's called Pascal or Pascal 23. I think it's probably one of the most modern malls, but they got a lot of shopping centers out here. You can see how the museum keeps going, and it still got the spheres here with a name of a country in each of them. But Indonesia's a pretty interesting country because the way how they combine some of the architectures and the streets is just, you know, unique. And I like how they preserve the trees. Look at this building, it looks pretty good. I like it out here. And then they got some Indonesian soldiers ahead of me. So it's looking actually pretty interesting. Wow. This is like an open plaza. Yesterday was pretty busy with crowds. You can admire the beautiful architecture out here. And ahead of me is actually a mayor mosque. You know, I think it's the mosque of Bandung. They got mosques all around every city in Indonesia, but I think this is like a major one. And yesterday was pretty busy, the area. So after this, it's gonna get more chill, more local, and I'm gonna try to make it towards where that mall is. So like I say, I'm probably gonna be doing a lot of cardio out here today. But the weather here is helpful, so I can walk all of it. Look at this structure here, it looks beautiful. If you guys know me, you know I'm a fan of architecture. They got a university over here. Here, there's some photographers and I guess young teenagers. And then I want to show you this sphere here that says Asia, Africa. This over here is pretty cool. Asia, Africa, and the sphere, that's Africa right there. And then they got like this area over here that goes over this way. So, and beautiful architecture. I think this is like a bank. And this over here kind of gives you like a vibe of a small town vibe. I love this walk here. It literally has my shirt. Palestine walk. Yeah, this is actually really dope, man. So I can't believe I missed this yesterday. They have like this little inlet over here. I guess it's like a tribute, you know, dedicating it, you know, to Palestine. Over there you see it with the flags. So I'm gonna walk around and show you guys. This is actually awesome. Like ahead of me is where they got the colors of the flag. And then I'm gonna continue my exploration of Bandung. Here you see it. And then they got like the color of the flags out here. So this is actually pretty dope what they did here. And then you can see behind me how the streets is literally covered with trees. Yeah, so like I say, everywhere you go in Bandung, the streets are walkable and they got trees. So I love it out here. Here it gets more interesting. I was walking in this side yesterday, but I couldn't acknowledge the architecture that we got in the other side of the street. But beautiful, a little bit of modern and old architecture combined together. So pretty interesting city. Then behind me is the Bandung Mosque. So you got people doing their prayers, you know, pretty busy out here. But yeah, then over here, I'm not sure this is like a police station, but the architecture is actually pretty nice. I'm gonna show you. Here, see this building? Kind of gives you like a semi-vibe of a European architecture. But it's just the heart of Indonesia. But yeah, I like the building, how it looks like. Feels like if you're transported back in time too. Then over here we got the ceiling and vendors over here selling. So I didn't got a chance to walk this side yesterday. Like I said, they got many regular streets. I walked one of them and it turned super local. But it's good to adventure and check it out around. But the city, you know, if you don't have a car, it's actually, in my opinion, pretty walkable. I'm a huge fan of walkable cities, and cities are designed for people to just walk around. Let's see how far I can go and make it towards a mall or something like that. There's plenty of malls out here. So it keeps going over here, all the action and everything. A lot of shops. And then if you turn over here, look at the architecture. I mean, this is a hotel, but I'm not sure. I like the building. You know, nothing crazy, but man, this one in the corner is nice. If they renovate it, man, it'll be, you know, a really hit, like a huge potential. Even the buildings here, they're old, but it seems like they could do a little renovation. Like if they do that, even though Bandung is beautiful, but if they do that, man, I'll tell you, Bandung will be awesome. So I didn't got a chance to walk in this side. Asia Africa's behind me. Over here turns into another name. But over here still looks pretty cool and pretty chill, you know. Like I said, everything is connected. I gotta check my map to see how far is Pascal 29. But so far, you know, it's looking pretty nice and pretty interesting here ahead of me. You see how beautiful the streets is, the sidewalks, and how it's literally up with trees. And of course the houses are looking pretty nice. A little bit of old and modern architecture. And a lot of cities in Indonesia, they have, you know, well-paved sidewalks. So this country, I'm gonna have to come back. It's not far from where I live, you know. I'm gonna have to come back, and there's so many places here that I wanna check it out. Like a lot of people, you know, when they think about Indonesia, they think about Bali, which is beautiful. A lot of people, they focus on going there, but there's much more to Indonesia than just Bali. Remember, over 17,000 islands over here for you to explore. So I think it's actually like an underrated country. It has so many natural resources, a lot of beauty, and the best of all, the people here are amazing, the hospitality. So they got a couple of malls like not too far from each other, Pascal 23, and then they got Pasar Baru, which I think is around this area. I think that's more like a affordable shopping area where they sell clothing line. So I might go check it out in a bit, but I want to focus on making it towards Pascal 23. I think it's mostly like a modern mall, but you know, I'm very curious to check out the malls in Asia. The ones in Jakarta were pretty massive, so. But yeah, pretty much local. Like I say, a lot of buildings here, if they retouch it and renovate it, I tell you, this city will be impressive. Here we got like a coffee shop. I like the buildings, how they look. A little bit of a modern architecture right here. So like I say, this city has it all. It has old and modern architecture, so whatever you see, then you can park your motorbikes right here. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Then Medan. Medan is one of the biggest cities in Indonesia in another island, and that city is located in the northern hemisphere. Now remember, most of Indonesia is in the southern hemisphere. But I like the street, wow, the sidewalks. Then they have a lot of carpet stores, you know. Carpets are pretty common in the Muslim community. The food over here looks top notch. There's another street, Masuk Parkir, I think. I don't know if I'm saying it correctly. Looks like it's a street market. Maybe in the nighttime it becomes eclectic. Like I was saying, most of Indonesia is located in the southern hemisphere. Like this is my first time I visit a city in a country that is in the southern hemisphere, but the city of Medan is in the northern part, in the northern hemisphere, you know, throughout the archipelago of Indonesia. I gotta tell you that the traffic here is insane, that I think it's much faster if you do what I'm doing, walking, because the traffic just keeps going out here. And you will think that Jakarta, apparently they say it has a bad traffic jam, but I think I see it more over here in Bandung. I don't know if you can see it clearly, like cars, the motorbikes, but the difference over here, comparing to Manila where I live, at least the traffic over here, it moves. If you were in Manila, it'll be stuck. But at least here, even though it's heavy, they still move little by little. I like the top of this building, you know, the structure. With the signs, it looks actually pretty cool. Then a block ahead of me, I'm gonna make a right, and then that will get me a little bit closer to the mall that I want to check out. But I think the area is going to be much more like a local vibe, you know. So I'm focusing on exploring regular areas. Then if you go a little bit more towards the northern part of Bandung, it turns pretty nice with nice houses, tree-lined streets. Streets literally fill up with trees. But it's better if you take a grab and you get around, because the city is like spread out. Now I'm in this other street. Let me see the name of the street. I'm saying the name of this road correctly, but it's called Astana Anyar, or in this side is Gadu Jadi. So it seems like it's pretty busy here, and I see like a lot of college students. And probably some street food too, so I'm just gonna show you the street scenes ahead of me. Like over here, see how busy it is? Wow. So it's mostly like young students. There's actually like a university there behind me, so that explains why a lot of students in their uniform. Well, I'm not sure if it's a high school or a university, because I know a lot of places in Asia, even in the universities, they require to wear uniforms. So it's a little confusing for me, coming from the West, you know. In the West, usually in college, we just wear any clothes. Even in a public high school, you can wear any type of outfit. You don't need to wear a uniform. So things are like a little bit different out here. So it might be better if I walk in the street than the sidewalk. But here you can see the action. They got street food, some restaurants out here. A lot of, wow, look at this car. Small but compact, it fits. It's actually an electric car too. Now on this side over here is getting a little bit hot. It's funny, some parts is hotter than other ones. I guess it depends like the buildings, or like if I'm literally like close to the nature, you know. Contrast, so hopefully that doesn't get me sick. But like I say, the city is actually a little bit colder than Jakarta, so. But a lot of action happening right here. I want to see what's going on like ahead of me. Here we got, you know, sidewalks. Let me see how far it's the street where I got to make a left and head towards the mall. Also, if you go straight, it's Bandung train station. That's where you take the feeder train that connects you to the Whoosh train. Traffic is heavy out here. Didn't expect Bandung to have traffic, but hey, it is what it is. Despite it being smaller in size, it's still a city. Look at this intersection over here, how crazy it is. How the heck I'm gonna cross towards that way? Just gotta wait for the light to turn red. Cars go that way and then I can just cross. I think the mall is over this way, so pretty busy intersection. And this other street, the traffic continues. I ain't gonna lie, like, I look at this building, the architecture makes you feel like if you're in Colombia or Bolivia, like the same structure of architecture. So it's crazy, like even some of these countries that are far away, they have like some sort of connections or similarities in terms of food, architecture, or anything going on. I'll tell you, looking at how the street looks like, You would not expect to find like a mall out here. I think it's actually one of the best malls in Bandung that I had no idea. I went to another mall a little bit outside here yesterday, but apparently this one looks pretty cool, so I'm gonna go check it out. I can already see the building of the mall right from a distance. You got motorbikes, some older buildings, and the mall is over that way. Now see if I can walk in the corner of the street. I'm probably gonna do that. It's probably the best way for me. But yeah, I don't see a signal light either, so whoops. How the heck am I gonna cross towards the other side? Just little by little. So the entrance of the mall is over that way, but they also have like another main street over here that looks pretty interesting, like some modern buildings. Maybe it's a sign, you know, to be right next to the mall. You can see here behind me. Then I'm gonna go on the other side and check out the shopping center. And this over here is a mall in the middle of, I'm not gonna say nowhere, but like in the neighborhood I was walking, you would not expect me to find a huge, nice looking mall. So let's go walk inside and check it out. And actually the street over here looks pretty lit. So I might walk it when I go back. This is the mall over here. Look how nice it is. I don't think it's really that huge, but they do a good job to decorate it. But then over here is gonna be like the main attraction. Atrium over here, and then they got cars and business. I'm gonna go on the second floor and show you like a better angle. Well, wow, it's a nice looking mall. Over here, not clear how you can see, but behind me, it's like a multi-level story mall. So it's actually, you know, pretty big and decent. But yeah, they do a lot of good job here in decorating these malls and making it look, you know, pretty nice and fancy. But yeah, I've seen enough of the mall, you know, pretty much what you get in any other mall, but I think I'm ready to hit back the streets and show you like a little boulevard outside of this mall that is really close to the train station too. So gonna figure my way out here, and then we're gonna walk straight and continue up the exploration. I'm back outside in the heat, but I want to show you like this street over here that looks like a boulevard or something. Pretty nice. They have like a lot of, I guess it's like a strip, a lot of restaurants going on right here. This over here, even a parking. So it seems like it's a planned community, so you know, a lot of shops, nail salons. I tell you, this city is full of surprises, and I didn't expect it, you know, to be that cool. Like I said, a lot of people, they come here just because of the Whoosh train, but there's a lot happening in Bandung. They got then they got like a market over here. So they got a lot of cool things happening, and this is literally like walking distance from the train station. So yep. You would have not thought that they had this here around the train station. But yeah, I think that's what makes a city or a community unique. So yeah, they got all this business, then you can walk by the ceiling area and cover yourself in the sun. So here I'm gonna do a sample. You see, can I fit here? Yes. So if you go underneath here, it's a ceiling that literally connects you, you know. So if it's raining, you don't gotta worry about getting wet. You can just literally walk around here and enjoy like all the restaurants, food options that they got right here. And this is pretty interesting, I guess. Yeah, so one thing I noticed when you go to strip malls or shopping centers, a lot of cars, they gotta pay to get in and have their parking everywhere. And then ahead of me, I see like a pretty interesting, nice looking building. I'm loving this area right here in Bandung. Pretty cool, you know. The funny thing is that I thought it was only like the other street, the main street, Braga street. And then I just realized that it got more happening over here. What is this, like a station? One way to find out, checking it out. It's called 23 at Pascal Square. So I guess this is all connected together. I think I actually passed here in the nighttime, but didn't really pay much mind. This is like the entrance of Pascal shopping center. So I guess like this little downtown district is part of the mall of Pascal 23. And this is like the busy highway over here with a lot of traffic jam. Wow. It would have sucked to be stuck in the grab now. It's better if you just walk it. You can see what's going on here, all this traffic. Being a little bit chaotic over here, motorbikes and everything, but let me show you what they do in front of me. See it? Motorbikes sharing with cars. And like I said, they drive the opposite direction right here. So this street right now will take me to Pasar Baru. But I think it's also like another shopping center. But I don't think it's like a high-end mall. I think it's more like a local. So, I mean, not sure if it'll be okay to film, but I'll try to manage and see what's out there. I can literally see the building right in front of me. And now you're starting to hear the prayers too, or the mosque. It's a pretty local street, but I love it out here. Wow. Even here, they got nice architecture. I'm the only foreigner walking around here, but that's okay. So it seems like if you really want to see like local Indonesian, get off of the main streets and experience local culture like this. I gotta do that more often when I go back to Jakarta. I've been exploring a lot like the modern parts, but you know, I wanna see like the local streets like this, but Jakarta's literally like massive. Yo, look how these workers do it. No equipment, no anything. He's bringing concrete, cement. It's crazy, yo. And then the mall is right there ahead of me. Then here it seems like we got a market, like heading towards the mall. Wow, great. People, everything. Maybe they're closing now, I don't know. But they got the vegetables and fruits out here, so crazy that you got like a little local market right next to the mall. Seems like surrounding the mall, which is right here. Gotta figure how do I get there. They got like an outdoor market happening right here, so that's pretty cool. But it's not too busy, maybe later in the afternoon. But yeah, it keeps going all the way ahead of me. This is like I said, literally like right outside the mall, so little local streets, mostly motorbikes. There's also like a little bit of street food out here, so yeah, this is very cool. Local, everybody. This one here used to be the big mall. So I'm gonna go in and see what it looks like. Most of this mall is literally like an indoor market, but most of the clothes look similar, but I mean, you know, if you want to buy a little bit of something local, then this is a good spot for you to come. Once you get to the mall, this is what you get out here. Pretty busy area and like an outdoor market. And then they sell like a lot of products. Here, pretty nice and busy. Got a hotel right here. But I think I did a good choice in terms of hotels. And they got like the outdoor market in the entrance of this mall, like Pasar Baru. It's even in Kentucky. Look at the architecture, how nice it is. And then some of the local streets, so a lot to see out here. You can literally shortcut into the main avenues. So everything is easily connected, like if you want to walk around. Here, like a lot of stores, jewelries, markets. You can walk like literally indoors, you can walk outdoors, you know, of your choice. So like I said, a lot of the streets, they look literally similar out here, but this will take me straight back towards the main avenue that I was walking to, this Asia, Africa. And you see how they got a lot of clothing lines out here, products and everything. So yeah, this is pretty awesome. Like I said, there's much more in Bandung than just the Whoosh train. It's a vibrant city happening around here. So now I'm back again in the Asia, Africa section. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna explore Braga in the nighttime. Maybe I will, because it's pretty busy and a lot of action. But if anything, I'm just gonna cut the video here short for now, and then I'll figure what I'm gonna do later at night. So I'm back in Braga Street. Sunset falling down, but this is when that street comes out to life in the nighttime. You can see a lot of people out here getting pictures. I'm gonna show you some of the lights here. It looks like if you're in Times Square. And you can see how busy it is. Look at this here, it looks like it's Times Square. And it's gonna be pretty busy at nighttime. It's crowded, I wanna make sure I don't photobomb. This looks like a calendaria, like an eatery, but not too many people. And then they got the trolley. I guess the trolley takes you around. I've never been to New Orleans, but I think the street, you know, based on the pictures and videos I've seen, it kind of reminds me of that. Like the same vibe, you know, the old architecture, nice streets. We got like shops and stores out here, so it kind of gives you a little bit of that vibe, like freaking called Bourbon Street. So, little similarity. Last night when I walked, it was busier. Maybe in an hour it'll get more packed out here. So like I say, this street here, Braga Street, specializes in coffee, and they got some pretty interesting coffee ones. So I ordered a banana latte. I never heard of that, which is this one right here. Then the other one's a butterscotch, so I'm gonna try first the banana latte and see how it is. Oh wow. Yo, yeah, I feel the banana in it, but it's pretty smooth. You know, one thing I noticed about the coffee shops here, of all the coffee shops that I taste, all of them, they're like pretty smooth, you know. Now I'm gonna go with the butterscotch. Let's see. Wow. So good, I don't know which one to choose, so that's gonna be my fiance's job, or whatever she takes, and then, yeah. But she's gonna try. Don't worry, she's not gonna be on camera, but she'll try. She tried them and she liked both of them. Pretty hard to choose, but I guess she's gonna stay with the butterscotch, and I'll just drink the banana latte. You know, that's a pretty interesting combo. I never heard of that in a while. But I think, you know, I was looking at the menu and that was the hardest thing to choose because everything looked pretty good and pretty interesting, you know. So I think that's one thing I'm gonna miss about Bandung, like the coffee, man. The coffee is pretty good and it's pretty smooth, so I ordered something, whatever was not spicy because I couldn't really handle the spice, you know. I ordered something that's like chicken mango. I don't know if you can see it right here. So I think it has like a mango sauce, you know. Pretty interesting, so I'm gonna try it, see if it's good. So I'm gonna take a little bite right here. Cheers. Pretty good. Pretty good. So I'm gonna finish this up, and then I'm gonna catch you guys when it's time for the dessert. I forgot the name of the dessert, but it's made out of cassava and it has some ice cream in it, so I think it's gonna be a perfect combination with a lot of sweetness, man. So but yeah, the food over here is being pretty good and pretty healthy. The bill came out in 145,000 rupiah, which is roughly about $8.60. Wow. 2 meals, 2 coffees, and a dessert for $8.60. Right in the heart of the main street. Where usually, you know, when it's in the touristy area, it could be a little bit more pricey, but wow. Less than $10, I got a meal for 2 people and dessert. How crazy is that? Now it's dessert time. I forgot what was the name of this thing that I ordered, but it looks pretty interesting. So the cassava with some ice cream. I don't know. Let me see what's it. Reading in here is called Kolenak ice cream. So like I say, I guess it's a cassava plant and combined with ice cream. So I'm gonna dig in to see how this tastes. A spoon here, gonna grab it. Look at this, how creamy, how soft it comes out. You get it in with a little bit of the ice cream combined together. And let's try. Let's try now. Wow. This is a perfect combination. The ice cream and everything, you know, it's like a smooth flavor. It has like a syrup too, so yeah. I'm just gonna finish up my meal and I'll catch you guys in a bit. My meal was pretty good, and the best of all was the price, how affordable it was, you know. But the food in Indonesia, you know, it's pretty cheap. Obviously, it depends where you go, but every place I've gone, the meals being pretty affordable. So I'm just strolling around a little bit, and then wrap up the video out here in Bandung. I'm heading to Jakarta tomorrow, you know. So like I said, I just came here for the main purpose to try the high-speed rail and see what's out here. And this is the street out here at night. This is pretty different from the daytime, right? If you watch the previous video that I filmed during the daytime when I was taking the Whoosh train. And here I think it's like a hotel. Nice building right here. Pretty busy nightlife out here in Indonesia. And I love how the street is covered with trees. Wow, pretty busy out here. There's a lot of people ordering ice cream here. Must be that good, though. And a lot of people taking selfies and pictures. One thing I noticed about Indonesia is that they like taking selfies, you know, just like in the Philippines. They're very open-minded with this, with terms of pictures and photography. And that's pretty nice, you know. Pretty cool and pretty nice, you know, that it being bonding together. Here I want to show you like a nice hotel that lights up in the nighttime. And this building looks nice. I don't know if it's a mall or a hotel, but they got like a plaza out here. Open space and a couple of food court areas. So I think this is like a gallery or a studio. A lot of young people hang out here, young Indonesians, you know. They got like a second floor and I feel like a market. I passed this area multiple times, but I never walk in the inside, so looking pretty nice. In the entrance of this building, they have like a food court, so kebabs here. Look at the ceiling, how nice. Golden coffee out here. And most of the food, well, I think all the food out here is halal. See, like I say, it's halal Indonesia. Because, you know, it's mostly the majority here is Muslim population, but pretty nice, lovely people. They got burger. There's another coffee joint right here. Yeah, guys, if you guys come to Indonesia, I would recommend Bandung, you know. Take that high-speed rail for the experience and then hang out here a day or two, you know. I only stay for a day, but if you want to go on a adventure and experience much more things around the area, then extend your trip for, you know, more time. But like I say, Indonesia has so much to see out here, so you can't really cover it like in a short period of time. So riding this thing is 10,000 rupiah. Because that's less than $1. Because I think 60,000 rupiah is like $1. So I'm riding one of these colorful things. It looks like a jeepney, so we're gonna sightsee, I think it's for 10 minutes. Very friendly people, you know. So hey, let's do it. Touristy things, right? It's my final night here. So I wrote that thing, you know, like I said, I never do that, but like, why not? Like 10 minutes, I enter it like in a B-roll because they were playing music out loud, like hip hop and all that. So, but that was a fun experience, you know. I gave you a little tour around the city center of Bandung. So small city, but I had a good time out here. So I think this concludes my little journey out here in Bandung, Indonesia. Pretty interesting city they got going on. But like I said, there's tons and tons of cool cities, but I was shocked with Bandung. So yep, tomorrow I'm heading back to Jakarta for more videos. I'm still missing a couple of neighbors I want to cover out there. So that was the end of my video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more. Be safe out there. Everybody, God bless y'all, and peace.